There's one of the great coaches of all time, Mike Tomlin, who did something that the Steelers organization has not done since 1941.
Crazy.
That's how bad it was on the offensive side of the ball for a team that is in the 7th spot right now, playoff-wise, as a wild card. He fired Matt Canada. Now, Matt Canada's not a household name, so it's kind of a part of this story. It's more that they recognize it's desperate times. Listen, and I get it, and he's right about that. The offense is the problem. It's the Achilles heel right now for the Steelers. Could you imagine if they had a legitimate top 20 offense right now? They'd be Super Bowl contenders because that's how good their defense is and how well they're coached. But all those numbers on the right, listen, that's not good.
No.
The issue with that is they empowered Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator, to develop a young quarterback. Now, you could be the greatest coordinator in the world, and I can show you Bill Belichick in New England, arguably the greatest coach of all time, cannot develop Mac Jones. Matt Canada could not develop Kenny Pickett to a stage where a lot of people thought he'd be at this stage of his career. And it's the old adage, you can't fire the players, so you fire the coach. But considering that this organization has not done this, no exaggeration, in 82 years, think about that. No coordinator has been fired mid-year by this organization in over 80 years. That's called desperation because they recognize that they're close. The ring's gettable. And if you were sitting there, let's say, I don't know, at 3-9, I don't think they make the move. You make the move because you recognize success is fleeting. Winning championships is even more fleeting than just being successful, and you're in it. And I can't go through another week of that type of performance by my offense, so I'm not getting rid of Kenny Pickett. I don't have a backup quarterback. Now I got to figure out a way to salvage Kenny's performance going forward because I got a real shot here of being in the dance.
Yeah, because they have 7 games remaining, and they only play one top 10 defense, and that's the Baltimore Ravens, the bottom line, right? So they do have a shot. And the decision came from Art Rooney II. And to your point, the Steelers pride themselves on stability and loyalty. They don't really get rid of their guys. They work, they go through the motions, they figure it out, they find what's the best way they can win with somebody who's maybe not a bright spot. Fast forward, man, what's tough about this situation is they don't have an answer, right? Because Kenny Pickett really is the problem.
Right.
And so as much as you want to blame Matt Canada, they can't look to Mitchell Trubisky to save him.
Now, on that, remember what happened a week and a half ago? Mike Tomlin was asked about the passer rating.
Yeah.
This kind of invented analytical stat that we all reference in regards to Kenny Pickett. And Mike Tomlin's immediate response was, well, how's he do in the fourth quarter?
Right.
And the numbers were glaring. His fourth quarter performance above average for sure, maybe even at times really good. But the first 3 quarters, not so good. So the notion was, well, if you see glimpses of it, why are we getting more out of him throughout the entire game and not just the fourth quarter? And they made what I'm sure is a very tough decision, especially, and this seems like a silly thing to say, but when you fire a guy 2 days before Thanksgiving, like that's a tough sell, though.
Well, he also
I got fired the day after Christmas once, and I wasn't all too thrilled about that. But so when you make that decision and you street a guy 2 days before Thanksgiving, you must really think that guy's part of the problem.
Well, Craig, on top of that, he had a relationship with Matt Canada, right?
Yeah.
And that's the hardest
part.
He brought him in, and it's one thing that, hey, you see a guy's resume, you bring him in, you love what he's done, you love everything about him, and it's different when it's your boy who you have drinks with, his family. And to your point, right after holiday time, right?
For sure.
I think Mike Tomlin realized the guy gave everything he had, and it just wasn't good enough. So there's some empathy with
Here's the other problem with Matt Canada being fired. I'm going to give you guys a little insight to what happens in the NFL. You can speak to this, Wille, of course, and Plax can when he gets here. When a coordinator gets fired or a head coach even gets fired in the NFL, let me walk you through what happens because it is not pretty. You are escorted out of the building.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to pack your stuff. You don't collect $200 for pass and go. You legitimately are told, I'm really sorry. We need your laptop. We need the company phone if they've given you one. We're going to mail you your stuff. And that's what happens. Like Matt Canada, now maybe they called him at home or maybe Mike brought him in and did a face-to-face, which seems like he's the kind of guy that would do that. But it's not like, hey, you're being fired. We'll give you a couple hours. Go to your office and pack your stuff up. It's get out.
I was there when Rex Ryan got fired. I was sitting in the building because as a leader, you always sit in the front row, man. And Rex talked about how his family and his lifeblood went through the Jets, and how much he loved the Jets, and how much in New York, and how he felt like he failed the team, which he didn't. We just weren't good, bottom line. And I can remember as Woody Johnson and company was in the room, security walked in, and they opened the door. And I can remember Rex is, bawling, crying. And Rex is a crier. Everybody kind of knows
very
that.
Emotional guy.
But it was a different cry. It was a cry like he knew he didn't want to leave. He felt like he was getting robbed. The fighter in him really wanted to give one more shot at it. But literally, security is like, come with us, Rex. And this is Rex Ryan, Hard Knocks. This is Rex Ryan, who was, if anybody's the face of the franchise, it was him. Getting escorted. And they wouldn't allow him.
Can't go back to your office.
Couldn't go back to his office.
Well, can't get your paperweight, the picture of the wife.
He also had a lot of success there, too. Like, it's not like he's an abject failure from jump either. Like, he had a ton of success.
No, but it's still like...
It's still humiliating.
It's still, there's like this point, like, I can't even grab, my one favorite jersey. I can't, my one autographed football from, Willie Joe Namath. It's like, no, you got to go right to your car.
The good news is here at FS1, when we get fired or if we fire people, we don't do that. We film it and we show it.
It's good.
So that their entire family can be a part of the firing process, which I have to tell you, I appreciate that and respect that a great deal.
I heard they also put you in a blue shirt so they can see like the guy in the blue shirt.
Right. Is that I've never heard that one. But if you're coming wearing blue, we'll find out soon. Anyhow, that's the situation right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. By the way, just real quick, who do the Steelers play this week? Oh, the Cincinnati Bengals. A huge AFC North game for both franchises. Can the Bengals win with a backup quarterback and keep their faint playoff hopes alive? Can Pittsburgh lock in and grab a hold of that 7th spot and not let go? No offensive coordinator, no quarterback, bad quarterback. What a great time.
AFC North.
For AFC North football. Woo! Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.